Happy Easter, Champ Land. Happy Easter, All Stars. Happy Easter, boys. Hope you're well on this 4-day bank holiday weekend. And to kind of fill some of the bank holiday boredom, if that even is a thing, we're going to just have a very quick, very interesting All Stars game week 5/6. And I say slash because we just need to remember that some of the teams have played 4. Some of the teams have played 5, so a little bit of an odd kind of middle ground at the moment. But in terms of the leagues, Alcatraz still flying at the top of the Central Conference there on 13 points, undefeated at the moment, and have only conceded once, and that was last time out against their local Fire. Pelham and Dandies obviously played out a game last time out, and the Dandies came on the better side of that. So they're off the mark in terms of being one of the 4 sides 2 game weeks ago that were without a win. And El Loco Fire, who, as you may have just seen, have been very busy in the transfer market in terms of bringing in some reinforcements this time around. And they play the Des Moines Demons, who I think I was probably a little bit harsh on them last time out. They have won 2 and lost 3, but they looked really solid at the start and are just having a little bit of an up-down kind of turn, as some of the teams are in the league. But really, the leagues say all that we need to say, which is that the Gators are top of the Western Conference and looking much better than their first 2 opening defeats. And similarly, St. Domingos are top of the tree in the Eastern with 4 out of 4, having had a stellar result against an impressive drivetrain up until that point in the previous game week, really keeping drivetrain quiet and probably the Bison's best performance of the season so far. So without further ado, we are going to start with the El Loco Fire, who do hand out a number of debuts tonight. Interestingly, Nicholas Anelka does not start. Fernando Torres starts over Big Nick, and we have a fair few debuts in Lee Young Pugh, Van der Vaart, Gerrard, and Yusuf Hersey. As Scott keeps the 2-7-1, that did fairly well last time out against Alcatraz, an impressive Alcatraz. Competed with them for large parts of the game, just couldn't get that winner. And they do face off tonight against the Des Moines Demons. Happy Easter, stay mate. Good to have you. Hope you're well. And Hopkins, no worries, buds. I know what it's like when you're crippled with your chest, mate. There's nothing you can do. This is how the Des Moines Demons go. Interestingly, Simkoviak is on his way out to the door to the New York Dandies. He's injured at the moment, so he is dropped to the reserves until that deal goes through. And they do change a fair few personnel in the tactic. They've obviously added as well the additional arrow into the AMC. The Baumer experiment really didn't work last time out, so he does find himself at his preferred position of DML. But we do have the early cult hero in the All Stars playing tonight in Johnny Halliday with 2 goals inside 4 games. And it's a much more conventional formation than we used to probably see from Horse, with a really solid spine. And Lillian Thuram takes the captain's armband, as Simkoviak is no longer part of this match day squad. I have gave Scotty a nudge that we are going to go with him first because I know he is otherwise engaged, but I do have substitutions at 60 minutes from Scotty as well. So let us know what you think in the chat. Big game this. Des Moines have got a real good chance to get a bit of a rut off their back and hit some form. And the El Loco Fire, are they going to go another game without a win? Jacques is in there early doors. Torres' name is mentioned in there. Lipmanen gets in there from the MC. And there is another chance for the Des Moines Demons, who are now just taking control of this game. 15 minutes played. Big save from the Loco keeper. But there is Carlos Jacques as well. Kind of, reunited with the manager that brought him to the fray in competitive champ. Certainly within the Super League in Scott. And a few chances there. Gets to half time and it's 0-0. Which is probably indicative of the goals that these teams haven't scored really between them. But the Des Moines Demons, as the match report kind of indicated with the text, did take control of that as the half went on. The El Loco side, Andre doing bits. Again, another player that Scott had kind of brought to the fore in competitive champ. Nobody had really ever played him in Super League until he came along. He was very good for Scott Bostock's side. And yeah, just again average from El Loco, not really getting anything going. And Scott's substitutions at half time would only apply if he was losing at half time. Over at the Des Moines Demons, horse is not really a massive one for half-time substitutions, but you could see a Zinedine Zidane debut against his former side. Is Horse the man to eventually get a tune out of Zinedine Zidane, or will he be another manager who has chalked his name against the failures to get Zidane firing? How does he look? Well, he looks how he always does, 20s to burn. And it's really just that work rate and bravery and balance that is a letdown. Interestingly, Champ Mega Horse has never been one that has previously wanted to take a punt on Zidane. He's always kind of thought that the bravery and the work rate and the balance would do too much damage, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to play. Haven't heard from Scott. Dave, give him a nudge before we went live. Let me just see if he's posted anything. Okay, spot on. And we will go to 60 minutes. Des Moines have really got to take advantage of the chances that they've created. Vieira up top there at the top third of the pitch, and Canute hits the upright. We get to what looked to be 60 minutes, but we jump to 79. Hopkins is in the chat there asking about Extaburia, who he does like a lot. Lillian Turan with the captain's armband on a 6. Condition there, nothing really much to worry about. The AMCs in Littmanen and Halliday not doing much. You could probably see a 2 up top here from Horse and a 1 AMC. And will that 1 AMC be Zidane, or will he do Zidane for Fiore and give him a little diag as he liked to do with Extaburia? We'll go over to Scotty's pre-submitted instructions. If you just bear with us, this might just take me a couple of seconds to work through. Riyad for Hersey at 60 unless he has a goal, so we'll do that one. Unless he has a goal, assist, or an 8 rating. So yeah, Tudor covers centre back. Soroczynski covers all DM line. For red cards, we go 1 at the back unless winning. Everything else just as is. And that makes perfect sense. Nicholas Anelka does not get a run tonight, which may prick the ears of a lot of managers across the league. And it's Alan Shearer. How's he looking? Great season 1 striker, in my opinion, there. But it's the AMCs letting them down, but it's not the AMCs that roll. Neither manager choosing to change the team instructions, as they can do once in the game. And we will get to 90 minutes. And if it's a draw after 90 minutes, remember we go to golden goal extra time. Littmanen, Le Young Pure there amongst it. Vieira, Fiore, Bauma drifted up. Is there a counter-attack goal here? But the Des Moines Demons keeper, Francisco Toldo, who was an early pick for the Des Moines Demons, really wanted to get a good keeper in early. Does bits there over to Scott. I really cannot be making any changes for him that he hasn't previously kind of told me. If it was me, I'd be doing an Anelka for Torres in the extra time, but we won't, just for the fairness of the competition, really. In terms of Des Moines Demons, Yori Littman on 76% fitness, Stefano Fiore on 78% fitness. Surely we've got to see Zidane here, Horsey. In terms of the match stats, Des Moines have been absolutely on top, but it is Andre, that Scott's preferred keeper of all the keepers in the world. He does like him a hell of a lot, who has been keeping the clean sheet so far. Remember, any goal in extra time will win it, as it's golden goal. And if it's a draw after 120 minutes, it will remain all square and the spoils will be shared. Just give Horse just a couple of seconds to make changes. So here we are, Zidane for Littmanen. Remove the arrow. Teneto for Fiore. And direct passing. There we go. And will this be the advantage of being able to make changes? Des Moines going route 1, and there it is. And it's not only the sub, but it's also the instructions. And the Des Moines Demons with a classic Horse bit of magic. Dyer squares it. Teneto gets free in the penalty area, hits it low, and he scores a great cross by Dyer. And that is probably just about as impactful. Hasn't even made a pass, hasn't made a tackle, hasn't made a header, and just has a shot and wins it for the Des Moines Demon. Frame that, because that's a rare moment. That's a genuine collector's item in the world, the competitive champ. Player comes on at 90 minutes, scores on 92, and other than the shot, doesn't touch the ball. Kieran Dyer with a man of the match performance, really, really solid across the pitch. Lillian too ran with a 6, maybe a little bit concerning, but it looks a little bit of a harsh 6. He's actually made all his tackles. He's only misplaced 4 passes, and 2 of the tackles were key. So maybe just hasn't been involved as much in the game with the chances that El Loco didn't create. And again, it's yet another game where El Loco have been in the game, but just haven't really managed to lay a glove on the opposition. Well done to Horse and unlucky to Scott. We go over to the enigmatic short pump sloths, who do make a slight system change in terms of formation and tactic file, but the personnel very much remains the same, and the return of Roberto on that left-hand side will be absolutely welcome for Rob, having missed a couple of games. Over to the Memphis Reigns. Rocks is still busy with kind of other engagements, so I have just made a couple of little personnel changes. Moved Ortega out to the right hand side, brought in Tetradze and DMC, and put Julio on the left hand side just to freshen things up, as they are on a horrific run of form. They've lost 4 on the spin, yet to win, and I'm sure Rob wouldn't mind. And if he does, then he can go fuck himself. So Reigns versus the Sloths, and we will see if Memphis Reigns can get off the mark. 25 minutes goes with not much happening at all. Black and blue, and there is the Alessandro, who Rob Sloth, to be fair to him, has kind of earmarked as a bit of a talisman for this side. He's got him on all set pieces, and he's got him kind of integral to everything. A really, really short match, almost not even one scroll of a match stat report, and the short pump Sloths take the lead in half time, having took one of their shots on goal in the back of the net. Nothing too inspiring about those match ratings. Shevchenko has went really quiet after having an absolute blistering start, although he has got 4 and 4. 3 of them were in the first game. And Ayala again on a 6. He's just an absolute liability, Ayala, if you ask me. Rob goes as is. We'll just jump over in case Rox does want to catch up. Nothing really standing out there. Bit of an even Stevens first half, and just the Sloths taking one of their chances. There is Shevchenko. His name wasn't mentioned at half time, but he does get in there. 58 minutes played. Shevchenko gets another chance. Keane, Roberto, and he did so well until the finish, says the commentary. Keane on a yellow card in a 6. Be a slight worry about there. Over conditions, nothing much, and there is Mega Horse. Shevchenko has the most shots on target before this round, but not as clinical as he was. Will he make any changes to that Goochland tactic? He looks fairly in control, and it is Trezeguet that he continues to play at AMC, which is an interesting decision, rather than going 2 up top. And we'll go over to the Memphis Reigns. Mickey Laney, who is the star boy of this side, really, in terms of Rox's some of Rox's boys. I think what we will do here is, given where we're at with Rox, I think we will not make a change. I think that's only fair on Rob more than anything else. And we will crack on. Oh, and there was Saviola, rather, putting one wide. Saviola again misses another chance. The Memphis Reigns are coming back into this, and there is that Roy Keane yellow, which becomes a red because of a double booking, and the short pump Sloths are down to 10. Now, Rob, just remember, not only do you have the chance to make the sub or kind of shape, you also can change your team instructions as well if you want to change your team instructions, if you want to go defensive. I imagine it would potentially be Mark Kerr dropping back, or D'Alessandro dropping back into midfield for Gattuso as the DMC. Could also drop Roberto back and Sally Hamadich back to have that kind of flat 3 DM line. Will Kerr just as the one MC rather. But we shall see what. There we go. Paul Kerr in the DMC. Now, if Rox was here, he would be able to make a change, but he isn't, so he won't. Although that 3 up top might just have a little bit more space to create some chances, given that Roy Keane is a bit of a tackling beast. We'll roll on to full time. Saviola Crespo just misses a chance there. What a goal that would have been. You feel there is a goal coming here for the Memphis Reigns, who are on 0 points so far, and a point would be precious if they could hang on after extra time, or even get the winner in extra time if they were to go level ones each, and they don't. And an uncharacteristically professional performance from Rob Sloth with a 1-0 uninspiring win, really. But you know, when you're playing against opposition that are struggling, you've just got to get in there, get the job done, and get the hell out of Dodge. Oliver Kahn keeping his team in it with an 8 rating. And over to the Memphis Reigns, Mickey Leaney couldn't turn round his 5, and the Short Pump Sloths get the win. Over to Alcatraz versus Drivetrain. Alcatraz, who again are absolutely flying. They've only drawn one and only conceded once, and that was in their last game. They are forced into a couple of changes, as you've probably seen from the state of that pack. Just want to check that I've offered them new contracts. Pip Wanzagi is out for 2 weeks, and Davy Collins is out for about 10 days, so that'll probably affect 2 games for Alcatraz. But they have got a better than expected Bacchus Studer who steps in, and also Ebby Sand, who Hopkins does like and who can do bits. Drivetrain again have got kind of players that are struggling with contracts, a little bit unhappy. It's usually first season issue with a new build in a lower reputation league. And this is how they go. They do make a pretty significant tactical change in that they've switched the kind of the 2 DMCs for 1 MC, for 1 DMC and 2 MCs. Interestingly, Figo does retain his place, but this time at AMC, despite being unhappy and wanting to leave the club. And Madavigia does get a start on that MR. But this kind of trio of Scholes, Boya, Scally look to be just about as good as you can expect. Thierry Henry, 3 goals inside 5 games, with a 5 last time out. Savage will be hoping, we've got a ghost game. Savage will be hoping that he can turn it round. So the ghost game pending, we will go over to the Blackwater Gators versus Pelham. Gators, who have been in really good form, actually the last couple of games, they've lost 1 of their last 4, 3 wins out of them, and they've turned around 2 defeats early on to be atop of their group. This is how they go tonight. It is a slightly more defensive, you'd probably argue, tactic with 3 MCs and 2 DMCs, and you get the impression that that is a little bit of respect paid to his opposition, who is the Pelham Pumas boss, Dimble. In terms of how he goes tonight, Vogel comes into DMC on a debut over Kaluzhny, and who else comes in? And yeah, Agahawa comes in on the bench because Hersey has moved on. Pelham have been a little bit stuttery. Draw, win, loss. So they've hit a little bit of a bump, and they'll be looking to take home advantage and turn it round against the Gators. Dimble is here, fantastic, and we'll get it underway. Dimble showing absolute commitment to this this fake manager life, and I think he's on date night, and he's probably snuck for a shit and put us on mute. 3 minutes of added time. Montella with a half a chance, and Veron with half a chance. Feels as though Pelham are on top. Can they get the goal before half time? Vesterveld was the other change for Pelham in goal after Taibbi had let him down last time out. Pelham with the better of it, creating more chances, maybe dropping those men back to MC has just cost the Gators a little bit in terms of creativity. We'll go over to Dimble first thing, given that he's probably sat on the toilet with his kecks around his ankles. 6 is all round, but a big 8 for Joe Cole, who was amongst it in the text, and Montella was also in there. Over to the Gators, and there's an instruction there for Dan to move it back to normal, so I just want to make sure I get that right, Dan. Veron on a 6, Van Bommel and Viduka also struggling. So if I remember, that'll be Decor, Totti, and then Van Bommel. Is that right? Yeah, Dan, if you could just give me a thumbs up that you're happy with that, mate. Evening, Alex. How you doing? How was Barbie? Hope you've sacked it off halfway through. I know I wouldn't sack off Margot Robbie for any of you. Yeah, Dan, just let me know that that is okay for you. We'll see if the Gators can create a little bit more with Totti in that AMC position. Really struggling there. I thought Totti, Veron, and Rui Costa could have done bits there from MC with those 4 wide arrows, but they've just probably not had enough of the game to even do anything about it. Dan, I'll just give you a couple of seconds to just confirm that you're happy. I know you've said cheers, mate, but just give us an okay, or give us a yeah, fine. Um, Dimble, I know you're probably like dying for me to hit restart, but I just want to make sure I've got that right for Dan. Dan, I'll just give you a couple of seconds, mate. Otherwise, we'll roll. Yeah, brilliant, excellent. And we get to 46 minutes. Hoffland goes into the book. Can Pelham take advantage of the pressure that they're now putting on Gators with Hoffland in the book? Petit, Rui Costa. There is Viduka, totally against the run of play. A former East Coast Cosmos man, I think. I'm not sure if he was a former Churchtown man under Dimble, but the Gators against the run of play look to have stolen one here on 60 minutes. 8 for Buffon, Shivu, Carlos and Agat. The boys interfered with dinner, and so the wife went to bed. Ah, yeah, I think you've scored there, mate. That's the best outcome on a Saturday night, mate. Solo on a Saturday night by 9 o'clock. Take that. Over to Pelham. Just really not getting enough from Duff, Ronaldinho, Montella, Clivert, all of the big guns really. And Ronaldinho's been really quiet. Scored a couple, but he's not been lighting it up as he has done previously. Condition wise, we'll just have a little check on conditions for Dimble. 82% on Joe Cole, 79% for Lassisi, but centre halves do kind of get away with fitness, I always think. And Dan goes Redondo for Veron. If we talk about players who haven't really done anything yet, Veron's had a very, very quiet start. Back to DMC. Redondo for Veron, back to DMC. Do you mean like that, Dan? Or do you mean like that? So if you just let us know, totty down one. Yeah, just let me know if you're happy with that, and if you want arrows, and I'll just do Dimble's changes. Aga for Duff, one for Climate. Cheers, Dimble, mate. That's grand. And Dan, if you just let me know, Dan's probably watching the United game at the same time, isn't he? I wonder how they're getting on. Yeah, that's it. Brilliant. Cheers, Dan. I appreciate that. 0-0 against Brentford. Come on, Dan. United are so shit. Fucking hell. And we will roll to 90 minutes. Can the Gators get a second now? So Dan started with 3 MCs and 2 DMCs and then went back to his 1-3-1, and now he's went back again as we see if the Gators can see this one out. They do look a hell of a lot better since the 60-minute mark. 85 minutes played now. Dimble just really isn't getting enough out of his forward players at the minute. Owen's robbed of it. And again, Gators now have a third win on the bounce. At halftime, that looked incredibly unlikely, but that does send them, significantly clear at the top of the table, given the fact that Des Moines and Steam Pigs are just kind of lagging behind a little bit and aren't looking as good in form. Stats wise, Pelham were very unlucky there. Vesterveld came in and did a 7. And again, it's just that middle chunk of players: Duff, Ronaldinho, Montella, Clivert, the players that you'd want to be creative to get you the win. Agahawa and Owen not really offering much, but they only had a half an hour to do it. Shiva won a 6. A Gap gets a man of the match performance for. It's hard to see why he's got a man of the match performance there, to be honest. Just tackles, maybe. But yeah, Dan making good use of the tactical change ups. Over to the Steam Pigs versus the Bisons. One team that is flying here and one team that is stuttering, you'd probably say, or struggling to get off the mark. Steve goes as is with a change of Wes Brown onto the bench, and that is his only change. Over to the Bisons, Leonardo retains his starting spot, having had 2 and a 9 rating on debut. Mendieta drops back to DMRC, and Zambrotta comes into MR. Just going to get Tato's changes up just in the event that we need to make them. And that Steam Pigs away kit, I don't know what the kind of brief for that was. I'm sure Steve will tell us. I'll just get Tato's changes up. And they're there. Giggs now with a chance. Mendieta now with a chance. Leonardo's first to the rebound, but Sebastian Frey gets in there. Giggs now feels very Bison's heavy this. Samuel with an early chance to clear, and he does so. Giggs now, Kuhl in there. And there is Mendieta, who gets his first goal for the Bisons. That'll be music to Tato's ears. And are they going to go 1-0 up at half time? No, they're not. George Atos who is a good little player, I think. I really like George Ados. Ones each. Steam Pigs pulling themselves back into the game, having went one down just before half time, and George Ados got in there. Not much to write home about there, but the Bisons and Steam Pigs going in at half time level. Over to the Steam Pigs. Elbert, who has been really good for Steve, is actually on a 5 at half time. And 7 for George Atos on a booking, despite the fact that he scored the goal, and Z Elias doing what he does, putting tackles about there. Tato's sub, just for transparency, is Nicky on for Leonardo. If he's effective, cannot really justify making that at half time, given that it's ones each, but we'll make it at 60 if it stays that way. Steve, you just let me know if you want to do anything there, mate. And we will see what we will do. Super League's back tomorrow night with Fifey for game week 26. Fair few managers in the chat have got things to play for. Frey can't hold it, but it's cleared away. And then Kitchen Dan will be back on Wednesday night for game week 7 of the All Stars. Claims for a penalty. It's a penalty. George Atos with a brace. Is there going to be an upset here? We get to 60 minutes. Steam Pigs have pulled this one out the bag. Can they hold on and inflict the first defeat on the Bisons? Let me just check Tato subs. Keep normal. Nicky on for Leonardo if he's ineffective. Pierre gets a run out of top if we are comfortable. You're not comfortable, so we're not making that change, bud. Well, what does Steve? What does Steve Wright do now? This is a real kind of turn on a sixpence moment for Steve's season. Wasn't great at the start, took a while to get off the mark, and now he is winning with 20 minutes to go against a team that are 4 out of 4 at the moment. Couple of bookings maybe there to worry about. Do you do Takinardi for Nakata and follow after Kitchen Dan and do 2 DMCs? You kind of take George Atos off. He looks nailed on for a man of the match performance. And we will see what Steve wants to do. Probably sweating a little bit there. Do you maybe get rid of Elben, put Takinardi in there and go uber defensive? Kitchen Dan's just proved it can work. Don't think Tato would be too worried about not making the changes for him. United and Brentford still nils each. I'll leave it against my better judgment. Okay, no worries. So we'll see if the Steam Pigs can hang on. Gigs with half a chance, Mendy at our half a chance now. Every time their name gets mentioned, Steel be rattling a little bit. And Penza gets in there, and Elbe gets in there, and the Steam Pigs have not made any changes here. This is just first 11 against first 11, tactic against tactic, and the Steam Pigs have laid a marker down tonight with an absolute battering of the Bisons and a 4-1 performance that Steve Wright will be dancing all the way to the bank with. Okrongo ends up on a 5. Not massively bad ratings, but just not massively good either. And Steve Wright's reaction in the chat live. Elbert turns a 5 around at half time onto a 9 and a man in the match performance. Assists from Kuhl, Elbert, and Contra. That is probably one of the best performances we've seen this season in terms of the form lines. That is absolutely massive for Steve. And again, just pulls him within touching distance of the Gators. Clinical. We've got the Vikings against the Dandies tonight. Now Jens is pissed basically. So he's a potential little conflict here that I'm kind of managing against him, but I'll make subs in the kind of best judgment I can. In terms of changes, he brings in Zanoni for Imar. He does miss a couple. Emerson still not fit. Dasai not fit. Morientes not fit. Andy Cole takes his place on the bench. Over at Dandies, keep it the same tactic file. I got the first win of the season against Pelham last time out. Debut for David Beckham on that right-hand side. Cafu injured, and they will hope to make it back-to-back wins for the first time this season. See how we get on. Barry Ferguson has an early chance for the Dandies, but doesn't put it in the back of the net. Segalgo, who has been flying, and there he is again from 20 yards out, does get the first goal of the night. Feels very Vikings heavy now after that first 10 minutes. Mackay, Dede, Zinoni, Ferguson gets his way. Beckham, and there is Ambrosini with his first goal. Beckham with an assist early doors. Ferguson again with another chance, just can't hit the back of the net. Zanetti coming down, Robin with a tactical foul. Sigalko with a banana shot. This feels very, very end to end. This is a decent little game, this between these two sides. Beckham offside now, Ferguson, Robin, Donny, all the right players being involved. Ferguson, and he's offside. He's been everywhere. Oh, Archie back with a chance. Archie back was in one-on-one with the keeper, I think. Where is it? Back advanced on the keeper, firing low. Cuenca saved it, let the ball run free, and Ronnie Johnson was in there with a stellar clearance. Don't think there's any need to really do anything there for Jens. I think they looked good from about 10 minutes until about 30 minutes, and then it became a little bit of a back and forth after that. Dandy's creating more chances, but certainly the text didn't really reflect that until around about 40 minutes when they had a few more chances to go ahead. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm not going to make any changes for Jens, and we will roll to 60. Can the Dandies get a go? Oh, Ferguson again with another chance. 52 minutes played there. He is playing with that little diag arrow. Klompe is in the box, and there is an own goal. Ambrosini has scored against both. Oh, and there is Ferguson. He eventually scores. After about 4 chances. We do jump over to the Vikings. Ibrahim Saeed on a 6. Dede on 79%. What's he got on the bench there? 79%. Saeed on a 6. Yeah, I'm not going to make any changes. There's nothing massive jumping out there for Jens, I don't think. We are going to give Martin Palermo a run out, and we are going to give Mido a run out for the Dandies and hope that Klompe doesn't get sent off. 58 minutes played, and we will go to 90 minutes. Surely one of these teams has got to get a winner. Couple of chances there from the free kick and deflected shots there from the Vikings. They're looking really good now since we started. Mido first to the rebound, but Cuenca smothers it and gets the ball clear. Surely this isn't going to be a draw after 90 minutes. There is chances going left, right and centre. Constantinu with a tactical foul. Zanetti, Honcho intercepted. Feels very, very Vikings heavy now. Ferguson straight offside. Zanoni, Saeed pushed Ambrosini. Can the Dandies create a chance and steal one here late on? And the 90 minutes, Ambrosini scoring at both ends. Dandies again created more chances. Vikings with only the 1 chance on target since half time. What's Dede's fitness? Dede's down to 73. Is that? Dede's an absolute machine for him. Roy Mackay. I don't think if anybody's got any suggestions of if I should make a change in the chat. Junior for Dede is kind of jumping out to us because of his fitness, but Dede has been an absolute machine, and I don't want to be accused of kind of taking one of his better players off. Do you maybe take Mackay off? Horse, I'll let you make the changes here, mate. Unless there's none that you think we should make. Dandies have looked all right since that break, but nothing massively to write home about. What shall we do here? I think we'll stay as is. Iron Robin's struggling a little bit, but he's Iron Robin, isn't he? We'll just push that and go for the win, I think. And we'll see what we do. We'll go to either a draw or we will go to a golden goal winner. Who will get it? Dandies haven't been involved in one of these this season. Sigalko, Constantinu with a knock. What will they do here? We'll go Cambiaso, Mido. Like that, I think. And we will roll along. 95 minutes played. Shall we get to the old half time? Still at 1s each. We still look for a golden goal. Here is Maxim Sigalko. Vikings get the corner. Big save from Chiotis, who had a bad start. And there is Donny, who has been in blistering form for the Vikings this season. And they do steal one right at the death, and he gets a man in the match performance. Dandy's a little bit unlucky to come out on the wrong side of that. And that is a big win in terms of Jens's group. And the Dandies just missed the opportunity to get close to yes, it is 3-3 horse, good spot. Just missed the opportunity to get close to Pelham, given that Pelham were beaten by the Gators tonight. Last game of the night, we have seen the previews. Without further ado, we shall jump over to the game itself and get underway. Vitabaya lets one go, he spills one, and Paul Scholes is in there to get the ball in the back of the net and put the drivetrain 1-0 up on 6 minutes. Scally with a tactical foul there. Boya, Figo, Rivaldo, who is everywhere at the minute in this early text. Be interesting to see his rating at half time. Again, Rivaldo with another cross in there. This tactical change up is paying off for Mike Savage, and it's a red card. Curse of the commentator. Rivaldo was looking everywhere. He was on a 8 rating after half an hour, and I think he's just stuck the nut on someone. Yeah, just stuck the nut on someone out of nowhere, and we'll see what Savage wants to do. I'm guessing it'll be Figo out to the left. Del Vecchio is the one AMC, although Del Vecchio can play on the left as well. Can't help but think that's a little bit of a curse of the commentator there, Savage, mate. Apologies if it was. Hopkins, if you let me know if you want to make any changes there, mate. Raul pulling the team back into it, having looked really average in terms of the text and the ratings. Alcatraz, interestingly, probably because it hasn't registered yet, but that is their first shot. And we will just see what Savage wants to do, as is for Hopkins, regardless of what Savage does. United getting absolutely battered off Brentford by the looks of the match stats. And that's nailed on for a United 1-0 win, isn't it? Nailed on. And we'll see what Sav wants to do. Figo. And then just let me know, Delvec where he is. Delvec, you're there? You're just leaving Delvec, you're there, Sav? I can't remember. Let me just cancel that. Just like that, yeah. Delvec, you're where he is. Tony should have 3 by now. With his arrow, mate. Yeah, spot on. Okay. And we will go to half time. Can Alcatraz take advantage of the 10 men now? They do look a hell of a lot better. And there is Clarence Seedorf with his first goal for the club, who hasn't been great for them, to be fair, in that solo MC position. Boya with a chance, advances on the keeper. But I will be the first one to tell you that Boya has a lot of things going for him, but his finishing is absolutely abysmal. Let Dragons down so many times, and look at Alcatraz there. How the hell have they turned that around? How the hell have they turned that around? Over to Drivetrain. They were on top for about 95% of that first half, 6s and 7s in there with a Paul Scholes goal. And who got the assist? That must have been a solo effort. And over to Alcatraz, Vita Bayer on a 7, despite the fact that he spilled a chance. Brett Emerton on 6. Savage just having an in-play meltdown there on the mercy of the game engine, which absolutely loves to fuck us. Can't see Hopkins changing anything there. Looks fairly solid. Kandaya probably is his least effective player, but he's still sitting there on a 7. And we'll see if Savage wants to change anything up. Hopkins going as is, as you'd expect. United just fucking blow every single chance that they've got to even remotely put pressure on the top 4. And Savage may be tempted here to do something like Delvecchio on the left, Figo on the right, ZZ Roberts up top. Does he go and chase this time? No, he goes as is, and we get to 60 minutes. Black and silver there after the half time, which is what Savage would have wanted to see. Figo with a free kick. Henri gets a chance. Vita Bayer makes up for his earlier error and saves the ball there. We get to 66 minutes out of nowhere. We hit the click. Seedorf on a 6 despite his goal. David's on a rare 6, probably informed by his booking a little bit. Ebby Sand on a 6. I'd expect Brozek to be coming on any second. And Hopkins is maybe tempted to put Bishgan on for Davids, given that he's struggling. Over to drivetrain. Nothing much has changed there since half time. Just give Savage a couple of seconds just to have a little look at those ratings there. And then over to his condition. Nothing to worry about. 83% he's lowest on 3 players. And I think it's probably time for a bit of 2 up top with ZZ Roberts, I would imagine. Maybe Delvecchio left, Figo right, 2 up top, arrows on Scholes, little diag on Scholes maybe. But we'll see what Savage wants to do. Over to Hopkins, Bishkan for Davids, Brozic for Sand, just as we expected. Totally sensible changes there from Hopkins. They're just trying to see the game out. And we will see how Savage responds. Scores to AMC with an arrow. Guessing you want Boya centralised there, mate? Makes sense. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. And we will go to 90 minutes, unless Drivetrain can get an equaliser. Delvecchio puts it over the board. Drivetrain have looked a hell of a lot more into it since those changes, and there is Neil Scally, who goes into the book. I'm going to provisionally change Scally for Giannichetta. Yeah, 10-minute limit's absolutely that limited even more now, Savage. You'll be absolutely fuming, mate. This has been a bit of a disaster from the game engine for you. Giannichetta, I've made the swap. If you just confirm that you're happy with that, mate. Yeah, brilliant, excellent. And we'll go to 90 minutes. If the Drivetrain could get an equaliser here, they'd certainly be doing it against the run of play. Giannichetta with a chance, Henri with a chance, Maravicchia with a chance, or Alcatraz going to stay on for again another win. 5 out of 5 it would be. They would be head and shoulders above of everybody else, and they do. And that is an absolute robbery from Hopkins and his boys, but he will not care. They are flying and they're top by some distance, and Drivetrain do not capitalise on the Bison's inability to win against the Steam Pigs. A couple of 8s in there with some 6s and 7s, but the damage was done when his first choice winger and his DMC went off. Hopkins graciously apologised in the chat, as you'd expect from the gent that he is. Raul with a rare man of the match performance, just got the assist, but that was enough. Savage saying, if you ever want an example of a champion in the game bending you over, that is it, and I would agree. There's the classifieds. Drivetrain 1, Alcatraz 2, and Local Fire 0, Des Moines Demons with probably the best sub ever, 1-0 in extra time. Memphis Reigns 0-1 against Short Pump Sloss, Pelham 0-1 against the Gators, Bisons against the Steam Pigs 1-4, and the Vikings with another Christian Doney masterclass steal and 1 against the Dandies 3-2. Cheers for your time tonight, gents. Do appreciate it. I shall get packs out tomorrow at some point for Wednesday's show. And as always, happy Easter and cheers for your company. And best of luck to those that have got something to fight for in the Super League. Good night, gents.